Hello. In this video, we're going to briefly talk about aesthetics in education. When you're teaching students in the classroom, you can either focus on teaching them about art, music, and film, or you can have them explore, for instance, the development of reading skills or the development of an understanding of various cultures through experiences with the arts and music and film and dance. So there are, in general, two different ways of focusing on that. One way is to focus on helping students develop artistic skill, for instance, development of music skill, or you can focus on the development of social and cultural understandings through experiences with the arts. We know from strong research that experiences with the arts, music, dance is linked to socio-emotional experiences and socio-emotional development. It's a type of way of knowing. It's a type of way of learning. And the arts, music, dance, they are grounded in culture. They're grounding in values. Sometimes we can learn about ways in which we can talk back to power structures, for instance. That's the critical approach. But oftentimes in classrooms, if you're not involved in critical literacy, then you're also having students explore meaning making for the sake of meaning making without necessarily involving power relationships, for instance. But these can be used in various ways in the classroom. So I'm focusing here on the visual arts as well as the performing arts in education. Visual arts, including having students draw. You might have students paint. Be careful about that. Have students create a very simplistic sculpture. Have students create a very simple fabric. And most often in classes, we're getting into the digital. So that's photography, video, film, digital storytelling, that recording a reader's theater with a podcast. We'll get into reader's theater later. So you might have students engage in a very simple dance, mime, or theater or musical performance in the classroom. This is strongly related to expression of identity, expression of feelings, creativity, as well as self-analysis and cultural analysis. Reader's theater is very commonly used in the classroom. This involves presentation of drama or prose or poetry that has been read in a dramatic way. Students start by reading the original text, and then they'll transform that original text into a script, and then they'll perform that script in front of an audience. Usually it's fellow students, but sometimes it might involve an audience from outside that classroom. Sometimes they'll even perform it virtually, like on a podcast or whatever. Reader's theater is social. It's very engaging for the students. The creation of these scripts involves students reading deeply about the text. The practice of reading and rehearsing involves repetition, which is associated with the development of reading fluency. You remember what reading fluency is, hopefully. That's reading with appropriate pace, appropriate tone, appropriate expressiveness. So procedures, you want to help the students in text selection, or you might have a pre-selected Reader's Theater script. You want to guide students through the practice, and you want to guide students through performance. The text should be a little bit more advanced than the reading level at which the students are normally reading for pleasure, so that there's enough of a challenge as they engage in practice and repetition. And again, you might help them select a text, make sure that it's genuinely interesting to the students, or you might have a pre-made Reader's Theater script. Rehearsal involves deep repeated readings, so the students are prepared for entertaining performance. And again, this helps students develop automaticity in word recognition, automaticity in use of vocabulary, as well as expressiveness in their reading. And as a teacher, you don't just sit back, you actively guide students the entire way through text selection, through the rehearsal process, through the feedback, and you're correcting errors along the way too.